welcome back guys. We're back with another video. We're down here at Summit Vans, back where it all started, where we first built NoGrayDaze van. I'm bringing back plenty of memories down here. There's plenty going on, as you can see with the vans behind us, and we're going to catch up with the boys and see what they've been up to. Let's go. How you going?
Good, how are you?
Good, mate. This is Matt from Adventure Fitouts and with Summit Vans. I'm sure you guys know his face. He's been putting plenty of content out there on the van. We'll come to have a look, see what you've been up to.
Yep, got a bit going on today. So we're 1 day out of handover on this one. So yeah, all finishing touches and it's looking pretty good.
Yep, and this is a 519?
Yep, so this is 519, which is traditionally a dually, but we'll have a peek at the back and it's actually been converted to super single.
Yep, you got a dead giveaway, which is the heavy vehicle,
yeah. So you can actually get a 519 as a light vehicle, just with a 4.5 tonne GVM.
Yep.
This customer's opted to get it with a 5 tonne GVM, which does mean you need your light rigid license to drive it.
Need your truck license.
And yeah, there's a few downsides, but obviously the upside is the 5 tonne GVM.
Yeah. No, that is awesome. It looks unreal. So what have we been doing different, I suppose, compared to previous builds? This one looks like it's the higher end of a build.
Yeah, this one's definitely got a lot of boxes ticked on it. It's got a custom layout, which we can take a look at. It's got a third seat in it, massive bed, flares. Yeah, super single conversion. It's got all the suspension upgrades, everything, winch and bull bar, all the good Al Vans gear on the back of it.
Yep.
Customer imported that roof rack from Holland, of all places. Cost a lot of money, but looks nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I haven't seen any vans in Australia with that. Would this be the first van with that
I believe so, yeah. Like we didn't arrange for it, but the customer did it directly, and I think it cost him over 15 grand.
15 grand for a roof rack.
Yeah, good. It's a lot of money.
You know it's a high-end build when that's happening. All right, so what do we want to check out? We'll check out the interior of this van.
Yeah, let's have a look inside. Sweet. So yeah, this is we worked with the customer to custom design this layout. So it's not too dissimilar to other long wheelbases that we've done in the past. First time I've done a rear seat in a long wheelbase.
Yep.
That's just a tech-safe seat. We're boxed out. It's a good setup. I think a lot of other fit-out companies use that same style seat.
But, and that is an aftermarket seat?
That's an aftermarket seat, yeah. Cool. So it'll get engineered as a 3-seater van now, but yeah, that's all aftermarket. And then, yeah, we've got this nice Stepford fridge. It's got the freezer down the bottom.
Yep.
Shower and toilet combo. So we've got 2 sizes of showers. This one's got the bigger one. I got Origin toilet. So that's a composting toilet. So there's no chemicals or anything.
And you would love the full length mirror on the road. That'd definitely be a great feature.
Yeah, then we got the mega kitchen galley. So we've got microwave, sink, heaps of storage using all Blum hardware.
Yep. And customers have been happy. I think we had this same benchtop in our van. And
your guys were the first time we used the bamboo, and it's been a consistent product for us.
Yep.
We've changed suppliers and we've changed thicknesses of bamboo.
This looks a little bit thinner.
Yeah, I think in your one we went 24 mil,
which
is what we could get at the time, and this is 19 mil bamboo, and then we're running I think it's a 10 mil on the ceiling.
Okay.
And so it's from the same supplier, so we're getting the same, like a consistent finish.
Yep. And obviously a bit of a weight saving as well.
Yeah.
Going the thinner.
With your one, I think we did a 12 mil ceiling board, but now I've dropped it to a 10 mil, and saves a bit of weight, nothing crazy, but.
Awesome. And I've noticed these strip lights are a little bit different from what we had. We had like a
this is probably
extrusion.
the first one that we've done it in. This is still an aluminium extrusion in there, but it's just slightly recessed rather than having a flange on the top. And I think it just gives a little bit, like it's got that kind of stepped shadow line. It's pretty cool.
No, it does look tidy. I think from memory we could see ours. Ours was like black powder coated.
Yeah, that's right.
Not seeing that frame actually looks a lot neater.
Nah, for sure.
Ours has the been keeping the painter busy with the aircon.
Yeah, it's quite a detailed job. This one's got a gloss finish. Usually we do a satin finish, but we've done a gloss black finish.
And the same guy that painted ours?
Yeah, Tony's. Oh well, Dutchie from Dutchie Spray Painting does the all the finer details, and then we've got Tony's Prestige down the road here that does all our like bigger exterior stuff.
Yep.
Like paints the flares and does the rapid coating.
Yep.
And all that. So,
No, I've used Tony for a lot of my personal stuff, and yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Can't beat him.
Yeah.
Well, it's not Tony, it's Luke, isn't it? The sun's running it now, but what is, I suppose, new and different?
So in your ones, which you probably would have appreciated, is these
Definitely.
nice plum overheads. These ones haven't been set yet, but they will get adjusted so they basically don't slam into the ceiling.
Yep.
They're height adjustable, soft close. Whereas you guys would have been standing under your overheads like this.
For me, it was
trying
perfect.
to keep them open.
For Bronte, she was the one that was cursing you. But
So yeah, I mean, based off the feedback, like with change to this style of hinge, and
you don't lose too much cupboard space. Like
there is a minimum size which you can, because obviously that's quite a big hinge mechanism. So there is a minimum size cabinet that we're restricted to, and this is probably as small as you could go, keeping the Blum hinges.
Yep.
Whereas if you're doing anything smaller, there's that one there, which usually we'll have open, but this customer's opted for some bamboo sliding doors in there, and it's first time I've done them, but it's going to look pretty neat, I think.
Okay, so you're going to have sliding doors on the overheads.
On that open style overhead.
Yeah,
like you
cool.
guys would have had that smaller little sort of
The mini overhead,
overhead,
Yep.
yeah. And most of our customers do just get that open.
Yeah. Most of the stuff on the road stayed in there, like you sort of just pack it all in and it stayed in there.
Yeah,
And,
And it's a good place just to rest your phone overnight. I personally like it open.
Yep.
Yeah, just, be laying in bed, pop your phone up, we put USBs up there.
Control? What have we got?
Yeah, well, this one's
Switching
running a
stuff, bit
Victron
different.
system. So after your build, we went through a phase of doing some eco flows, but now we're back on the Victron. So we've got a neat bamboo face panel. So I believe you've got tank levels all in here as well.
Okay.
Rather than having a separate tank monitoring, I love these tactile switches.
Yep.
So like here we've got Starlink on and off, Starlink Mini on the roof. We can just flick that on and off as we want. Water pump. These ones actually control electronic valves for our water tanks. So rather than having to get underneath and like manually open your grey water tank, we can just hit this and it's just going to drain onto the ground.
So it's just like a solenoid setup?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, three-way valve with a solenoid on it.
No, unreal. Yeah. And everyone's still using the rotary dimmers and switches? These are what we have now?
These are what we use in yours, so you can double click and dim and change colour.
Yep. I feel like they were
those, and they're a nice thing once you kind of get your head around how they operate.
And I believe this way of flooring has been...
Yeah, the woven vinyl.
We went with like more of a hybrid plank.
Yeah, which we still do in a few vans. Like we'll check out that white van in a sec, but this is a woven vinyl. So good thing about this is soft under the foot, right? So it's like a 6mm foam with this woven vinyl on top. So I guess it does provide a bit more sound deadening and dampening in it, and as well as just being comfortable under your foot. And
how does it go, I suppose, with sand? Like obviously our van was full of sand at all times, but
like you just get a little dustpan brush and just brush it off. And, in my van, I've just got an air compressor, just blow it out.
Yep.
You could spill a glass of red wine on this and just wipe straight up. So
it's almost like waterproof.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice
there's a few
that.
different colours. This is kind of a whiter finish, so it is one of the lighter colours.
Yep.
In a few other vans, we've gone for a bit of a darker grey. Other things, probably the materials. So in your van, all the cabinets were done in like a 2-pack painted MDF finish, which obviously you get to pick whatever colour you please. Whereas this is a laminated lightweight plywood, so there's a limited selection of colours, and we've just been told by this supplier that we fell in love with it, that discontinued their product.
Awesome.
So so we're in the process of figuring out what product we're going to run with, but there's a few on the market that are just a lightweight ply, custom pressed laminate on it, and in a variety of different colours.
And was this stuff like had the edging already done from the supplier?
No.
Still having to do the edging?
Still supplied into a 24x12 sheet that we can cut on this machine.
Yep.
We've got the edge bander down in the timber shop, and we just run it through. Got a full-time cabinet maker and a apprentice cabinet maker on board now. So
How many guys have you got now? I suppose what there was
pretty much 10 plus the Sparky's crew. He's a subby essentially, but he's got 2 guys working for him now as well. So
that's awesome.
On a good day, there'll be 12 or 13 people here.
Yeah, it's good you guys see you guys growing and pushing forward, and I feel like you guys are definitely leading the charge. With the whole van building.
Well, we
in Australia.
think so too, and hence the Summit, right? Summit vans.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I see what
It's up top, mate. So.
Can't get any higher.
But I honestly think that our workmanship and the products that we put on the vans, is the top. We do see a lot of motorhome manufacturers vans coming to us for fitment of aftermarket accessories.
Yep.
And so we get to see the variety of build quality and design layout choices. Even just the choice of aircon or water heating.
Yep.
Right, on all those vans. And there's good products and there's bad products. There's good finishes, there's bad finishes. There's good layouts, there's bad layouts. Right?
Yeah.
I think we just try to combine the best of everything, and it does come at a price in sometimes. Like you can go and get a Jayco for 170 grand, drive away.
Yep.
Right, you won't get it out of our workshop for under 200.
Which,
drive away. So
in my mind, the poor man always pays twice.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I just feel, I mentioned this before earlier, like those sort of style of vans, and you go in there and you feel like you're in a motorhome, or you feel like you're in a caravan. You step in one of your vans and it's almost like an apartment, like a small apartment. Like it's just a nice feel to it.
For sure. And I guess it comes down to the team that they've got working on it though, because they're all used to designing caravans for grey nomads, right?
Yep.
We're all, I'm mid-30s now, but most of the guys in the shop are under 30 and, kind of bringing new ideas to the table. And we've got a great designer, Harry, great cabinet guy, Jake, and, great installers and that now. So
it's awesome. That's almost like that next generation of what vans and caravans should be like and will be like in the future. So hopefully we are kicking around in one of these when we're old.
I noticed the L-Track too has been that been popular?
That's been popular, and we're now doing like a second run of L-Track. I don't think in your van do we have that? Can't remember now.
Not above here.
Not above there.
Just above the overhead.
Yeah, I mean the main reason for that is, particularly this lower one, right? You've got from there to there, you can just get a 1200 sheet. So on a few of our next builds, we're actually deleting this upper L-Track just for a cleaner, more like traditional sort of homey vibe. But the L-Track, essentially we use this to tuck out behind our wall panels. We use it to mount the cabinets to the walls. It just gives that van a whole adventure van vibe.
Definitely.
And you can get hooks and accessories and bags now that just clip in, so it is versatile as well.
It's kind of unlimited what you can do with L-Track and stuff now, isn't it?
Yeah.
That, I haven't seen that window before. What are we got
this
there?
is an aftermarket window. There's 2 types of sliding window. You can get one that opens from the front, so this front half slides, and then the other half, the back half slides forward. So it usually comes down to what the layout is, and obviously we've got the fridge here, so one that opens from the back's not going to be any good. We've got that one there, serves pretty well. The only downside to these forward opening ones is the fly screens on the outside. So from the outside it doesn't give as clean look as the other ones.
That is but in saying that does look like a nicer product compared to some other
as well,
screens.
right? So the other brand of windows with the rear opening is just a fly screen mesh, whereas this is actually like a security screen.
So you could leave that like open overnight and not have to worry or anything. I did see when we were sort of building our van and getting ready for it, one of the things I did read was similar style window but in the door. And people were cracking them open and reaching around and unlocking the latch on your sliding door and getting in your vans. That's cool. I like that. And where's that from?
We've got a window guy, Peter, who comes around. I tell him what style of window we want. But the other brand we do with the rear opening are Kingsley windows. In the back we've got the awning style now as well. So we've worked with a supplier to bring over those, and we've got the sliding and the bunk style sliding and the bunk style awning now.
Bronte and I spoke about that, and I think we would opt for an awning style window. I think at the time the market there wasn't some nice ones on the market. They were all pretty ugly looking. But just for the rain, like on a warmer night, if it was raining and you would still want the windows open, like you had to shut them because the water would get in. But that awning style is cool. Yeah.
And we had a storm here like a few months back, and I had my awning window open and it pissed down, and there was not a drop of water inside the van, and my window was fully open.
Yeah, and they're definitely windows that you forget about and leave open.
That's right.
Like you jump out of bed, leave it open. All the time. My favourite part, probably your favourite part too, where you put your toys. The garage, this one looks epic. What have we got going on here?
Yeah, so obviously we've got the bed set up quite high, so that's, we give it 900mm clearance, which is typically what you're going to need for a full-size mountain bike mounted on a fork mount to fit underneath the garage. You do just have to bump your seat down. You can't have your dropper in your high position, but short of that, you can slide your bikes in under. Hangers will clear the wheel arch boxes, so a few other companies bring their wheel arches right up to the underside of the bed and actually support the bed off those wheel arches. Whereas we're supporting the bed off aluminium rails that we're mounting to the wall. So essentially the bed's floating, which means, you can squeeze, or your handlebars can float over the top of those wheel arch boxes, and you could fit a lot more bikes in here than a more traditional, easy way of building.
So you think you'd get 3 bikes in here?
So this one, you'd squeeze 3 bikes on. This one's because this one's a dually, the wheel arch boxes are a little bit wider than usual, say in a 419. So we're probably losing 80mm of space, I reckon, in the garage compared to what you get in a 419. But 3 bikes in a dually, I reckon it's possible.
Is there any more like challenges, I suppose, between the 3s and the 4s to the 5? Other than the wheel boxes
basically we rule out building on 3s. So there's just not enough GVM there to build anything
on a 3
unless you're doing something super basic. But to do a full live-in camper setup, 319 or 316 or whatever, 317 they are now, not enough GVM. But with a dually, like, challenges would be mainly just that wheel arch boxes being wider.
It's the only difference, really.
That's the only difference in the body. There's one extra tank that you could potentially fit in front of the spare wheel water tank, which you can't fit on a dually. You can on a single wheel axle, but short of that, they're pretty much the same.
Still got the black Hexaply.
Hexaply is like our favourite for the garages and troopies and all that kind of thing. It's just such a hardware ply. So on the back there, like we'll jump to the water outlets in a sec, but this here is an electronic thermostatic mixing valve. So essentially I can control the temperature on here, and there's a little box inside that you feed hot and cold water into, and then it spits out water at whatever temperature that.
And this is electric heat?
No, this has a diesel hot water system in it. So we're using a diesel heat DH9 system, and then it's also got the ducted hot air running from the same system as well. So you're getting hot water and hot air out of the one system.
As like from an install point of view compared to electric, what would be easier?
It's a little bit, electric's definitely easier because it's just plug and play, right? Water in, water out, power in, power out. Whereas this one, you've got the added fuel line, and then you've also got the exhaust. So the exhaust has to punch a hole through, then just mount the exhaust in underneath the rear step, and then the fuel line has to run back to the main fuel tank. Some vans are optioned with a just plug and play for your fuel line,
like
for
a fitting already
pickup.
there.
So you can order. Other vans we've got to drop the tank and put a straw in in the like the top of the tank.
Oh, where the sender and everything is? So that's a pretty big job.
It's like a few hours work, and it's a messy job because depending on how much diesel's in the tank, right? You could be trying to drop a 100-kilo tank of diesel down, and you've got to open it up.
In many vans, we opted for that Brown Davis long-range tank, and many vans
we haven't honestly done one since your van, but we just spec'd a van up today with a customer who wants it in a long wheelbase. The trouble with that, I find, is mainly like the GVM. By the time you're speccing up everything with additional like 100 litres of fuel, essentially, you lose 100 kilos.
Blow out the GVM, especially on a 4, like a 4 series.
That's right, So you do just have to be a little bit mindful, but that's.
Do you know roughly what kind of payload once this is fully fitted, being a 5 series?
He's going to have a lot. Like we'll be under 4 ton tear weight.
Yep. And what's
and he's got 5 ton GVM. Right? So he's got a ton of carrying capacity.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
You'll never get that in a 419 van.
Yep.
Generally, with a 419 coming in at like 3.6 ton, so then you've got essentially 500 kilo carrying capacity.
Yep.
To take you up to the 4.1 GVM.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, like that's a big question, and we get asked a lot: is what was the weight of the van? And I always just say we had the van built, and then we kind of packed it to GVM, and that was it. Like, sort of don't want to really be over, but even though with the Van Compass kit, that's like they can handle it. And
well, that's right. Like with the rear leaf spring upgrade and the shocks, particularly the Baja bracket, right? Like the weakest link on the Sprinter suspension system is that upper shock mount, upper rear shock mount. So that's going to be the first thing to shear off if you're loading close to GVM. Like, you're going to want to add, even if you don't add all the adjustable shocks that Van Compass offer, just add the Baja bracket and then like a leaf spring upgrade, and you'll be right. So,
I feel like at the time when we were building ours, that bracket just came out. It just sort of got recognised. It already had been recognised as a weak point in the States. And then Van Compass, is it Van Compass that supply that bracket? They were like, everyone should start putting this on their van, and now it's just the standard.
Oh, for sure. So these are pretty nice. I'll turn them off. They're so bright, but we've got this. It's the same strip light as we put in the ceiling. Well, this one, I think, that's the same flush mounted one that doesn't have the flange on it, but so we just recess that in, have the switch here, and
very nice. And you're getting that, are you doing that etching in-house?
So that's all done on the CNC.
That's cool, I like that.
And I just love these tactile switches. We've played around with a few, like those billet style push buttons and stuff, but there's nothing like just, like a switch like that. It's just so tactile and satisfying. And then we've got the compressor, bit of storage here. There's some power outlets there, so you could be charging e-bikes.
And with
here as well.
Are people still opting for the air outlet here and on the front bar?
So generally we're running an outlet. We don't generally do it on the front bar anymore because it was trying tricky to find a good spot that wasn't going to just cop mud and dirt and shit all over it. So we're actually doing the front one on the back of the passenger seat. So you can just open the sliding door and plug in air there, and then you've got air outlets down here as well.
Awesome.
But then we're dual switch, so we're switched from here, and we're also switched from the dash. So if you are running a diff locker, you can turn the air compressor on that you need for the diff locker from the driver's seat.
Awesome.
We've got heaps of storage up top, so it's a good place to put helmets and gear. You can use the L-track to strap between here and here to stop things from moving. Batteries in that side, and then all the inverter and chargers and everything in there.
When you guys are building the vans, does like weight distribution itself come into play? Or?
Generally like power on that side, water service on this side, it tends to balance it out. There's been a few customers have come in and wanted quite a one-sided layout. But by the time the layouts that we do, I think balance the weight pretty nicely. We've got these panel hinges, and then we've got magnets up here.
Looks unreal. And Victron has still been sort of the first choice?
Like I said earlier, we went through a phase of the EcoFlow stuff, and there's been a few supply chain issues with that lately in Australia, so we've opted to just go for tried and tested Victron. Works out a little bit more expensive, but it gives you more flexibility on how you set it up, and this one's got 1,050 amp hours, so there's three 350 amp hour batteries in there.
Three 350 amp hour batteries. That is
you guys
insane.
Had one.
We had one. And we could get a few days off a full charge. That's insane.
So he's going to have plenty of power, but he's also running aircon, and we'll just want to be comfortable in the van. So
bit bigger fridge.
That's
same hob as what we had.
Safiri induction hob.
Yep.
So you got the diesel heat DH9 there. these are our electronic switching valves. So switching what tank we're filling and drawing from.
Yep.
Got the water pump there, and then up in there is the fan head for the ducted hot air.
Is this something,
system.
these solenoids, is this a first for you guys, or is this?
We've been doing it for a while now.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a must-have in all our vans.
These doors are different. What's...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the gas struts.
Yeah, and then even like the leather, this is all...
Yeah, this is the first van that we've seen this on, is this like having the upper plastics. I think it's always been a factory option, but I think this is potentially now the 2025 standard, I believe, but I could be wrong.
It is weird on when you spec a van out through Merc, what applies and doesn't apply.
That's
Like
right.
you could tick one box,
Yeah.
and you'll get this.
Yeah.
Like, and you've ticked something up the front.
That's right,
like,
yeah.
it's
The
crazy.
silliest thing I find is a chrome grille that comes when you tick the camper van.
I hate it. That's why I didn't get it.
Well, have a look at this one, because we just paint it now, and yeah, this one's all colour matched. So it's got the blue.
That's really nice.
colour
Even the
matched
badge. Glued the badge out.
The black on the back as well. We've just painted the actual like Mercedes emblem
Yep.
in the blue and kept the black
Yep.
in
In the
as well. So
background.
we've masked it out and kept the black background. So
So
yeah.
So
I hate
cool.
chrome grills, but there's a good
Yeah.
solution to them.
Say no to chrome. So on the back, we've got our monster box.
Yep, our van's monster box mounted on the B2 carrier.
Has that been a pretty popular product?
Yeah, for sure. The B2s are pretty much a staple. You know, they call it a bike carrier, but essentially it's a cargo carrier that you can put bikes on.
Yep.
With the monster box, it's a bit trickier, but yeah, the monster boxes are beautiful.
I have seen a few Aussie companies trying to mimic what Owl are producing. Would you say the quality's there? Have you had any
Yeah, for
dealings
sure.
with those
Well,
products?
we've actually started selling Wellbeat gear.
Okay, and that's an Aussie company?
That's an Aussie company.
Yep.
Australian-made product, very, very similar to the our van stuff. And
Yep.
originally, when they first came out, we were a little bit hesitant to work with them. Owl is definitely a superior product in terms of like the amount of R&D and like the quantity of products that they're produced and refined. It's just got that slight edge in quality and function.
I suppose they've been around longer. There's more products they've sold and put out there. They've probably had more come back to them and just make it a better and better product.
Yeah, for sure. And even we're seeing, you know, each batch of Owl's gear, there's more and more refinements. Like it's just slightly different each batch. So Owl are definitely always improving their products. And to me, they're top of the game in terms of the quality of the products for Sprinter vans.
And
but
for myself, I always see a lot of other Sprinters on the road, and the first thing I look for is if you see the Owl gear on a van, they've spent the money and they've
for sure.
It's got that sort of, I don't know, I suppose status about it. I can see it anyway.
For sure. You can appreciate it.
Yeah, you can appreciate it, definitely.
But no, I mean, Wellbeat have come along and definitely disrupted like Owl's presence in Australia. There's nothing wrong with Wellbeat. It's kind of got, I'd like to say it's got the 95% quality level there in terms of Owl. And it's a fair bit cheaper than the Owl, which is why a lot of customers are jumping on Wellbeat rather than
I suppose
Owl,
if you can support Australian as well, like that's another key thing.
That's right.
I'll look at myself
for sure.
Yeah, no, it's
But
good that
personally, like I love the Owl stuff. I rep the Owl stuff on my own van. There's still plenty of customers that come in, get the Owl gear. Like there's a few products like the winch bar and the wheels and that Owl is still way ahead on that you can't get yet from other suppliers. So.
I noticed that your shower and filler caps are a bit different these days.
Yeah, so I've changed to these like twist lock things. Might drip a bit of water, but so these are from Acura. We stock these on our website, and then we've just got a neat little laser engraved logo. Or what do you call it? Label on there to our shower and our water fill, and you just got this twist lock connector. Twists in.
Definitely looks like one of the nicer products on the market for sure.
Yeah.
As I said, when we built ours, I wanted mine hidden. Like they were under the van. Just because I hate that on the side, but I reckon that looks pretty good.
No, much better than the plastic stuff that you see on caravans and other motorhome manufacturers. And then we've been able to find like a similar style product for the shore power as well. So we've got the Victron shore power plug
to match.
This one's in and charging, but there's pretty much matches in terms of finish to those Acura outlets.
Awesome. And I noticed flares and windows.
Yeah, so flares, these are now manufactured in Australia.
Yep.
Very similar in style to the flare space ones, a few tweaks, but yeah, now manufactured in Australia, and we're also just about to come out with a 50mm extended version.
Yep.
For the driver's side. So basically now I kind of like and prefer these symmetrical ones.
Yep.
I know that was a big thing that
Definitely,
you wanted.
yeah.
So there's a lot of customers will still run the symmetrical ones, but these are getting, 1940 at the deepest point.
Yep.
Whereas with the 50mm extended it'd be 1990.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's definitely would be a bit more sort of bulbous
Yep.
looking. We have made it pretty sleek where this like tapers down.
So it still does have a taper from one end to the other?
It still does have a taper, and then yeah, we've just done a slight rolled edge on that front edge just to give it a bit of flow rather than...
So pretty much like the same profile, but just pushed
well,
out
literally
by...
we've taken the mould, we've chopped it through here, we've added 50mm, and then we just reshaped that front edge. We also shifted the window position. These ones we actually blanked out and cut a window in that position, but in the new extended version, the window works with both the medium and the long.
Okay.
Whereas in the ones that are in this medium here, the window is more centered in the flare for a medium wheelbase, which centers it in the cutout between the structural members in a medium.
Okay. And that's obviously because that section of van is shorter.
Well, in like here, you've got that structural beam through there on a long wheelbase. So you're actually, this part of the flare isn't actually usable in a long wheelbase.
Yep.
But visually, I just like the look of it, how it flows.
Awesome. And what about these rims and tyres, man? That's the first thing I noticed when I saw this van.
So
it looks insane.
These are a super single. So I think we touched on it at the start. This van was a dually to begin with, and this is now a super single conversion. So this is a brand called Riker, who we just started working with and stocking the wheels. So they're a US-based brand. All wheels are made in China, but we're getting them straight from their factory.
Yep.
And working with Riker, but yeah, essentially means that you can not need to run 7 tyres. You've got 5, including your spare.
And also off-road, like airing down, you can bag out a bit more.
For sure, yeah.
Get that wider
We've done a few dualies where we've done all terrains, and you literally can't fit a piece of paper between the tyres even at full pressure, right? So when you're dropping those down, you're obviously going to be contacting. So yeah.
I feel like that's a huge oversight for when people have bought 5 Series vans with the dual wheel. It's something they haven't even really thought about, or maybe not even known about.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they go to modify the van and start looking into off-roading, and they start reading like, I know it's a big issue, I suppose, depending on what state they're from and with engineering the super single, but this is all fully engineered. And
they're all load rate. So the wheels are fully load rated, I think around 1,700 kilos per rim. So you're getting well over the 5-ton GVM. A lot of these vans would only have a 4.5-ton GVM anyway, so your wheel's more than sufficiently load rated.
Yep, and I noticed, I did think that this was a KM2, but when I look closer, it's actually a
HD terrain.
So is that a new tyre from BF Goodrich?
I'm not sure, to be honest, but I think it is considered a heavy duty, one that's got a higher load rating on it.
Yep.
But yeah, the customer actually fitted these wheels and tyres before the van came to us.
Okay.
But yeah, on the back of this, we've now started working with Riker and stocking these wheels. So,
yep. Would you say BF Goodrich is still sort of the first pick for wheels and tyres,
for
tyres for vans these days?
Honestly, the Toyo AT3 is what we're fitting a lot on these 419s.
Yep.
Mainly because so this is a 285/70/17, and the Toyo is actually, someone's figured out that it's 0.5% smaller than other 285/70s, and it actually means that you don't affect your adaptive cruise control.
Okay.
Because if you go too big on a Sprinter van, your adaptive cruise control won't work.
Yep.
Whereas this is as big as you can go without having any issues. So it does limit you to your tyre choice, but honestly, this Toyo is a really nice tyre. It's quite similar to the Falcon Wild Peak.
Yep.
It's like the beef Goodrich is a staple in the four-wheel drive industry, right?
Yep.
But these for driving day to day, they're a lot quieter than the KO2s or KO3s, and yeah, just a bit more softer and more comfortable.
Nah, definitely looks so cool. Like,
Yeah.
even the stance on this van is unreal.
Yeah. This customer is a fabricator and has actually made these side steps himself.
No, so they're not our.
They're not Owl. He's essentially copied Owl, but yeah, he's done a good job at building these. But yeah, the Owl Vans ones and the World Beat ones are a very similar style.
Yeah.
Wanted to have his personal touch on the van.
Nah,
and
why not?
That was it. So yeah, good on him. He's made a good product.
Done a better job than I could, for sure. And that window that we touched on inside, I reckon that actually looks pretty neat. Yeah. I'm digging the black, hey? Like, obviously...
I actually really like it. It just shows up all the dirt.
Yeah,
so
dirt and scratch.
You're washing your van every week.
And you've got the Raptor coating.
Yep, so this has all been Raptored from here down.
Yep.
All the Terrawagon stuff that we put on, that's all been Raptor coated as well.
In terms of the van, like from factory, has it been kitted out much? Have you got much spec on that? Or?
Yeah, this one's pretty nicely optioned. Camper van pack, so you've got the swivel seats, the bigger fuel tank, got the bigger display, which I think actually comes standard with all 2025 vans now.
Really?
You don't actually have to upgrade to the 10-inch screen.
That's nice. For what you pay, it's nicer for me.
Yeah, that's right.
It's nice and Merc. One thing I wanted to have a look was I noticed you had those new switches on the dash.
Oh yeah.
We did like a head panel.
Yeah. Yeah. So
now you found a switch that can actually fit.
We've got these laser or custom
blanks.
engraved ones that we slightly modify the blank.
Yep.
To make it fit.
Yep.
But yeah, we sell them on our website, and they're a really nice looking switch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you'll have a compressor switch, you'll have a switch for one of the rear lights, so you could have a high beam reverse light. And then this customer's got the light bar at the top as well as the spotties on the front.
Nah, unreal. I suppose front bar, Raptor coated the whole bumper bar.
Yeah, so this customer, we actually supplied him with a factory fog light bar. So his van didn't come with fog lights from factory, but we've fitted the
squadrons,
Baja squadrons.
Yep.
And there's a neat little 3D printed bracket that they make that fit it into the factory bar. So you could go to the effort of chopping a hole in a standard bar, and you can buy these for $60 or something and do it, but it's much easier and a much nicer job to actually buy the bar from Merc.
Yep, and he's gone with the LP9s.
They're LP9s, they're the big ones.
Yeah, big dogs.
And then, he wants to keep the chrome grille.
Yeah.
And then he's done that, actually. That's not in the Raptor, but it's in the body colour paint.
Yeah,
but you got a slight texture on that.
Looks unreal. And this is just a cover, or have Merc changed the actual radar?
Well, so when you fit the Pismo, you actually relocate the adaptive cruise control sensor inside here. And yeah, there's a bit of adjustment because sometimes when you do relocate that, it can throw an error code. But the sensors, the bracket's designed with some adjustment, so you can make it work.
And then would these be less work for install compared to the CA Tune bars?
Well, we haven't done a CA Tune since your one, so yeah, always doing these Pismos. They're pretty easy install now. The first batch they had this was actually in and you'd see the cut line, whereas now they've changed the design, so you're actually covering your cut line. So you can't go wrong unless you make a massive mistake.
Got a couple mil, it'll cover up.
You've got some tolerance there to
awesome.
Yeah, go crazy with your cut. And we've got flip up number plate bracket there. Winch rope's not in there yet, but that'll go in shortly.
Going for the synthetic rope?
Yep.
Cool. One thing I did notice he's only got one spare, and I noticed that the one on the rear had a machine face.
Yes. So when you buy the super single set, you actually get what they consider to be a universal spare. So it's got two machine faces on it. So yeah, if you blow the rear out, this face will go on the inside, but if you're changing the front, this other side would go on the inside. So
such a cool concept.
It is, It means you don't have to carry 6 tyres.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wouldn't want to run it for too long, but it's going to be enough to get you out of trouble.
And get a new
tyre fitted up.
These look sick. I feel like even the tread pattern on these are like in between a KM2 and a KM3.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like these are a bit more chunkier than a KM2. And
For sure.
yeah, even the way they sit on the van, like that side edge, that square edge. Just,
Very aggressive. Hey?
yeah, looks so sick. Making me want to build another van.
So we've got our bonnet strut kit, so makes it easier when you're topping up AdBlue.
Definitely.
And then
where is this from?
we make these, we stock these, so these
Awesome.
are on our website. And then we've got our ARB air compressor tucked in down there on a custom bracket that we make.
Yep.
And then that's pulling air from this fresh air intake rather than pulling air from your hot engine bay.
Nice.
And then
so that obviously help with longevity for the compressor? Like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you just putting cool air into the compressor rather than hot
so
air.
less load on it,
Yeah,
essentially?
Yeah. And then we've got all braided line running all the way to the back. There you saw that outlet on the seat, on the back of the wheel arch box, and then we've got an outlet on the seat back, on the passenger seat back as well. And then, yeah, like I said, it's dual switched.
Yeah.
So if you are running a diff locker.
I noticed this is a new addition from Merc, little badge on the air box. Like I don't think I got that on mine.
Yeah, well, this is a whole new engine compared to what you had in the V6. So, yeah, there's a few changes there.
And you're happy with you got the 4-cylinder, the high output?
Yeah, I'm daily driving one now, and yeah, it's a smoother, easier vehicle to drive compared to the V6.
Yep.
I had a V6 two-wheel drive and love the torque and the brunt of the engine, but these are just like, it's got electronic steering rather than hydraulic now. I think they've made the swap too.
Okay.
And so the steering's super light, even with big tyres.
Yep.
And then just, the 9-speed auto, it's just really smooth to drive.
Yeah, okay. Would you say fuel economy wise is much difference?
Pretty much the same,
Yep.
I would say. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe slight improvement with the 4-cylinder, but yeah, once you're loading up a van, and particularly bigger tyres, you are going to sacrifice your fuel economy.
Yeah, okay. And what number van is this for the year?
This is only van number 2 for the year,
Only 2.
but
Slow start.
we spent the first 2 months of the year reorganising the workshop and building the mezzanine. Still a work in progress up there. We really just wanted to, sort our shit out, basically. Really improve efficiencies and productivity in the workspace, figure out how we position vans in the workspace. We've got all our tools and bolts and everything down one side now.
Yep.
Boys have got their own little carts, and
So a few more systems in place and trying to
definitely
refine
improve the systems,
process.
and we've got more staff now, and just really refining our process. And like, we're planning on building another 10 vans this year, and it's mid-April now, so we'll we built this van in essentially 3 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
That is awesome. Obviously, bit of planning prior to that.
Yeah, lots
like
of planning.
The actual install itself, 3 weeks.
That's right, yeah.
It's so sick. Yeah, it's good to see it's like a young company. It's obviously like family operated sort of business and just leading the charge, I feel, in that space. It's unreal. I suppose one of our big questions was always how much did that van cost? So it's a question we don't like asking.
How long is a piece of string essentially? But I mean, like I said before, you don't get much change out of 200 to roll away in something that's all-wheel drive and like a off-grid capable setup, right?
And that's van and fit out.
That's van and fit
grand.
out, yeah. So that's pretty much like base minimum price. A lot of our customers are spending north of 300.
Yep.
Some customers closer to 350, fully spec'd. You know, for a van, nice fit out, all the accessories, you know, Starlink on the roof, the top-notch suspension, winch mount, everything. You know, you can easily tip over 300 pretty quickly.
Which it's all, if you know the market and you know what it is like, it's all justifiable, I suppose.
Well, we're like, a lot of the cost is in the aftermarket accessories, right? So we're getting a lot of Trackers and Jaycos coming out, you know, like they're spending 200 and then coming to us for another 50 just on the aftermarket accessories. So if a customer come to us and be able to, you know, drive in and out and not have to do anything else, and you're still spending the same amount of money. It works out pretty well for them.
I think it's a great starting point, like for van and fit out, 200 grand, like it's you're on the road and enjoying it. Cheap house, definitely.
But they also hold their value pretty well, you know,
Definitely.
like you guys know, you did a lap of Australia pretty much, 40,000 Ks on the van, and didn't lose too much money from what you
What did we lose?
put into
Maybe 20 or 30 grand, possibly.
Yeah.
So
you're paying like
for that experience, like I'll
the
pay that 10 times over.
You know, you don't have to pay rent or the mortgage for the
Yep.
year you're traveling, right?
Yep.
The other thing I wanted to ask though is what's sort of the difference, or did we already ask that, between Summit and Adventure Fitouts?
Yeah,
Like,
not
what's
yet.
Adventure
No.
doing now?
We'll touch
Yes,
on that.
well,
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
You can ask that.
You can ask it.
Oh no, it will pick up my voice.
Yeah, of course, and pick it up.
Yeah, so what, I suppose, what's the difference?
what's the difference between
Adventure and Summit?
yeah, well, good question, because we are in a little bit of identity crisis, I guess you'd say. But Summit Vans, we saw, like, we just wanted to brand our top end builds, you know, a little bit differently. And you know, Summit Vans, we kind of started to offer standard floor plans, you know, ticker box build specs, that kind of thing, and just we sort of outgrown what we felt like we'd built with Adventure Fitouts.
Yep.
So yeah, Summit Vans, you know, is going to be your drive-in, drive-out packages for sprinter builds, whereas Adventure Fitouts still exists, and it's essentially going to be our parts and accessories store. So yeah, if you want a full build, it'll be Summit. If you're coming to us for parts and accessories, it'll be through Adventure Fitouts.
I think that's a good way to do it, and
Yeah.
the whole Summit thing's definitely taking off, and you guys
For sure.
took that to a few four-wheel drive shows. Was that this year or last year?
Yeah, last year we did Sydney and Adelaide.
Yep.
And
How was the response there?
Oh, great. Like, a lot of people haven't seen anything like this,
Yeah.
right? So
Epic.
there was a couple other sprinter vans there, but nothing like we had our big rig, which has 34 inch tyres, got a pop top tent. It's a beast of a thing, and it captured a lot of people's attention for sure.
No, awesome. Maybe change their mind on the whole caravan motorhome scene, and
for sure.
what you can do like with these vans.
Yeah, definitely.
Has the NoGrayDaze layout that you guys have put like a stock standard, has that been a popular one?
Yeah, so that's going in that van out there, but essentially we've dubbed that as our M2 build. So with the Summit, we're trying to get standardised floor plans, and your van honestly is like every second phone call we get references your van.
No, awesome.
So a lot of people though wanted that layout with a shower, so we created what we call our M1 layout, which is essentially putting the shower in front of the bed on the driver's side, and then you still got a decent sized kitchen galley. And then we've got our M2 layout, which is no shower, just massive kitchen galleys. The only tricky thing in your build, which we try to avoid, is that tall cabinet that runs from the bench top up to the overhead where you had your microwave and everything in. Just with the scribes and that, it complicates things a fair bit. But so in our M2 standard build, we're not doing that, but we are offering essentially the same layout where you've got the two galleys, no shower.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that worked well. We're happy with that. If we'll build another van, probably do the same thing, but I suppose building a van again would be for a different purpose. It wouldn't be full-time living, so it's a whole different ballpark of how you want your layout and how you're going to use it.
Exactly right, it's a shame I don't have my van here today, but I've got 2 kids, so I've got a medium wheelbase Sprinter with a back seat. I've still got a fridge, a sink and a bed in there, so I'm using my van day to day, karting, surfboards, bikes, that sort of thing, but it's still set up where we can go away and still fit everyone in there, just because the kids are only little. But it's got all the luxuries that you want in an off-road camper.
So we got, this one's actually for sale. So if you guys are interested in the van, come down and have a look, and we're going to do a quick tour on the van.
So this was kind of our development rig for Summit vans. We scored this just off the lot when Merck called us one day and said, you want a van? We've got one here. And at that time, he couldn't get vans, so
they were hot items.
We snapped this one up. It was like Christmas Eve, I think, we took delivery of it. And then we used it as our test dummy for the Summit concept of our wall panels, our L-track, all the aluminium substructure and everything that goes in. The way we're doing cabinets and things now, it was kind of our test dummy.
And what base van, like what is it?
So 419 all-wheel drive.
Yep.
late 2023
Okay.
build.
So
It's
one of the
only got-
first all drives to come into the country.
Yeah, and it's only got 300 Ks on the clock. Drove it up to the Sydney Full Drive show,
Okay.
and it's been out on a couple of photo shoots now, but that's about it.
Yep. So she's brand new.
Yeah. So this one is calling our L1 layout. We've got massive bed, shower, fridge. This one's actually our smaller 700 shower.
Yep.
Versus that 950 one you saw in the black van. So obviously no toilet inside it, but you can just lift the potty in and use it in there, but otherwise the toilet's stored in underneath the sink.
Surprising how much more room there is, hey, Bronte, compared to a medium wheelbase.
Yeah.
Definitely could have
I
used
noticed,
that.
do these people get around the fans still?
Yeah, we're still putting Siroccos in most builds now. This one's got 2, but
I actually really like this textured paneling. Like it's
the wall fabric,
kind
so
of
this
reminds
is
me of like a Kevlar sort of style.
Yeah, it's an
fabric.
outdoor cushion fabric that you'd essentially got a Korean bench top. The black shows up a lot of spots, but
Yep.
it looks
Still nice,
to begin with.
yeah, definitely.
But you can sand and polish that up,
Yep.
get it looking good again.
And what's the price point for this van if
So
someone's
it
interested?
just price dropped it down to $239.
$239.
Yeah.
That is, for what you're getting, like it's
Well,
ready to go, isn't it?
Yeah, it's ready to go. If you were to spec up this build, off the street, walk in, it'd be close to 260, 265.
Yep.
With all the options that it's got on it.
So you're getting a pretty good discount.
Yeah.
As is.
For sure.
And what's the electrical system like on this one?
It's 5 kilowatt EcoFlow system, so
Yep.
it's equivalent of 417 amps, I think it is.
Yep.
And the EcoFlow kit, you're getting 3,000 watt inverter and all the good stuff.
So you've got 3 brand new Sprinters here. What's
Yep.
the plan
So
with these?
silver one sold, we just formalised the build specs on that one last week.
Yep.
This one here is a medium wheelbase. It's got a name penciled on it, just waiting for final things to go through for that one. And then we've got this second medium wheelbase 419 ready to go. So it's pretty rare to see a medium wheelbase 419 all-wheel drive that's just sitting here, but
Definitely. So this one is for sale.
this one's for sale. We've got
Ready to be built?
Yeah, we've got a build slot allocated for this van for this year.
Okay.
Whereas if you bring your own van, we're pushed out till 2026 now for build slots.
You got to jump in the
So
queue.
it's a good way to get ahead in the queue and
That's a
get
good
van
idea.
this year. Yeah.
Yeah, to have
Yeah.
this sort of ready to be built. And
Yeah.
Yeah. And 419 is sort of the pick.
Yeah, for a medium wheelbase, you're generally building a medium wheelbase at 3.4 tonne, so like maybe 3.5 with a few accessories on it. So yeah, 419 on a medium wheelbase you can get away with. In a long wheelbase, I feel like the 519 would
Is the
probably
way
be
to go.
the way to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
It just gives you a bit more, I guess, peace of mind of not tipping over
Yep.
over GVM.
Cool. And then what, in terms of price point, say if you do want to go down the long wheelbase 5 Series, price point into converting those into super singles, have you got a rough idea on that?
I think the wheel set is about $5,000
Yep.
plus tyres.
Okay.
Which is on par with putting a set of rims and tyres on a medium, like a 419 anyway.
So there's
right?
actually no mechanical changes done to the hubs or the diff or anything like
No,
that? All it is
I
is just
believe it's
offset?
straight bolt on.
Okay.
The offset of the rim is suited to it. And
Okay, that's awesome.
Straight bolt on.
So that's not too... You're going to spend that money anyway. So.
Yeah, that's right. And you'll have to get the van engineered as well, but you're going to get the van engineered as part of the camper van conversion anyway, or the bigger wheels and tyres. So,
And have you had any dual wheel mediums?
We've fitted accessories to one and done a few little things, but we haven't done a build on a dual wheel medium yet.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Super single, medium wheelbase 5 Series, that'd be
yeah,
epic, especially on those wheels and tyres.
I mean, now that those wheels and tyres are available in Australia, I think, we'll definitely, we've already converted a few future customers to 519s who are originally going for 419s. So, definitely see some more super single converted vans rolling around.
Awesome. Love it. Well, that's a wrap up of the shop here at Summit Vans and Adventure Fitouts. Thanks for Matt for showing us around. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Excited to see what the future holds for you guys and what new builds are coming this way.
For sure, and we'll have to have you back again next van.
Definitely, part 2.
Yeah.
If you have any questions or anything we looked at today or previous videos, please put a comment below and we'll get back to you. Any more information that you need, check out Summit Van's website, give them a call.